ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to tell you about it's a glorious autumn afternoon and I am standing on a hillside looking out over Tokyo Bay. Beside me is Takao Saiki, a usually mild-mannered gentleman in his 70s. But today Saiki-San is angry. It's a total joke. He says in perfect English, just ridiculous. Because of his distress is a giant construction site blocking our view across the bay, a 1.3 gigawatt coal-fired power station in the making. I don't understand why we still have to burn coal to generate electricity, says Saiki-San's friend Rikuro Suzuki. This plant alone will emit more than 7 million tons of carbon dioxide every year. Suzuki-San's point is a good one. Shouldn't Japan be cutting its coal consumption, not increasing it at a time of great concern about coal's impact on the climate? So why the coal? The answer is 2011 Fukushima nuclear disaster. In 2010, about one-third of Japan's electricity came from nuclear power and there were plans to build a lot more. But then the 2011 disaster hit and all Japan's nuclear power plants were shut down. 10 years later, most remain closed and there's a lot of resistance to restarting them. In their place, Japan's gas-fired power stations have been doing a lot of overtime. But as Britain has found out recently, natural gas is expensive. So the Japanese government decided to build 22 new coal-fired power stations to run on cheap coal imported from Australia. Economically, it made sense. Environmentally, not so much. Japan is now under intense pressure to stop using coal. Instead of closing the old coal plants and switching to renewables, Japan's answer is to switch to burning hydrogen or ammonia. The investment made by electric power companies in coal-fired power plants would suddenly be useless without value in their balance sheet, says Professor Thomas Keberger, an expert on energy policy at Chalmers University in Sweden, and it would create financial difficulties for electric power companies and then for banks and pension funds. And that is a challenge for Japan. The plants can be quite easily converted to burning hydrogen or ammonia, neither of which produce any carbon dioxide, so this seems like a good solution. But Japan's government has much bigger ambitions than that. It wants to be the world's first hydrogen economy. This is where the car maker Toyota comes in. It's another lovely sunny day and I am in downtown Tokyo at the shiny new hydrogen filling station. Standing on the forecourt is a sleek new Toyota Mirai. This is a big luxury car about the size of a large Lexus. I slip into the leather-clad cabin, press the start button and glide out onto the street. The car is extremely smooth, completely silent, and the only thing dribbling onto the road behind me is a bit of water. The Mirai is Toyota's first zero-emissions electric car. Unlike other electric cars, the Mirai doesn't have a huge battery under the floor. Instead, it has fuel cell under the bonnet and hydrogen tanks under the back seat. The hydrogen is passed through the fuel cell where it converted to electricity, which runs the electric motors. It's the same technology that was used to power the Apollo spacecraft on the moon missions. To many people, this technology is an odd choice. It's more expensive and complicated than batteries. Elon Musk has called hydrogen cars stupid and not true. Hisashi Nakai, the head of Toyota's public affairs division, he says the company's vision for fuel cells goes much further than just cars. I know people have different opinions, he tells me, but the important thing is realizing carbon neutrality. We need to think about how we can make the most out of fuel cell technology. We strongly believe in hydrogen as a powerful and important energy. But Nakai-san says shows Toyota is thinking of a future where hydrogen fuel cells are everywhere, in homes and offices and factories as well as cars, and it wants to be at the forefront of this new hydrogen society. This brings us to the final and most important question: where is the hydrogen to power Japan's zero carbon society going to come from? The answer is blue hydrogen. Make hydrogen from water using renewable energy and you get green hydrogen. The problem is green hydrogen is really expensive. Instead, today most hydrogen is made from natural gas or even coal. That is cheap, but it produces lots of greenhouse gases. However, if you capture those greenhouse gases and bury them in the ground, you are allowed to call it blue hydrogen. So if you are looking forward towards more entertainment, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.